and today we're diving into a book that'll change how you see the world, literally. We're talking about The Design of Everyday Things by Don Norman. Now you might be thinking, a book about design? That's kinda niche, Emmanuel. But trust me, this book is for everyone. Ever tried opening a door but instead of pulling, you pushed? And then you stand there awkwardly hoping no one saw you? Well, you're not alone. Don Norman explains exactly why these moments happen, and spoiler alert, it's not your fault, it's bad design. We've all been victims of it. So whether you're a tech enthusiast, a design newbie, or just someone who uses everyday objects, that's all of us. Stick around because we're about to break down why good design matters and how this book can help you spot the good from the bad. Let's get into it. Alright, first up, Norman opens our eyes to the fact that bad design is literally all around us. Think about it. Confusing remote controls with way too many buttons, car dashboards that look like spaceship cockpits. Our world is filled with products that just don't make sense. And the worst part we often blame when we can't figure something out. But Norman's like, nope, it's not you, it's the design. He introduces this concept of affordances, which is basically how an object suggests its use, like a door handle pulling, but then there are signifiers, which are the clues that tell us to use something. Remember those doors with no handles, just a big push sign? That's because the affordance wasn't clear enough. They needed a sign to compensate for bad design. And that's the thing, a well-designed door shouldn't instructions, it should be intuitive. Think about the products you use every day, your phone, your coffee maker, even something as simple as a light switch. How many of those actually make you stop and think? Probably more than you realize. Norman uses tons of real-world examples and he breaks down these design principles in a way that's super engaging and relatable. He even talks about those frustrating clamshell packages that are nearly impossible to open without injuring yourself. We've all been there. The point is, once you start paying attention, you'll see bad design. But the good news is you'll also start to appreciate design even more. One of the biggest takeaways from The Design of Everyday Things is this idea of user-centered design. It seems obvious, right? Design should serve the, not frustrate them. But you'd be surprised how often that gets lost in the process. Norman really hammers home the importance of designers putting themselves in the user's shoes. Like, imagine you're designing a microwave. You want it to be simple, easy to use, right? So why do so many microwaves have like 17 buttons when all we really use are start and stop? Good design is like a good joke. If you have to explain it, it's not good. And this applies to everything, not just tech. Think about public spaces, websites, even signage. When things are designed well, we don't even notice them. They just work seamlessly in the background. But when they're designed, it's like hitting a brick wall of frustration. Norman gives this example of a stovetop where the burners are arranged in a square, but the controls are in a straight line. It seems like a small thing, but it makes it super confusing to know which knob controls which burner. And that's bad design. It's not intuitive. The takeaway here is that good design is all about empathy. It's about understanding how people interact with the world and creating products and experiences that are enjoyable and easy to use. Now, let's get a little deeper into the psychology of design. Norman talks about these 7 stages of action, which is basically how our brains interact with products. It sounds complicated, but it's actually pretty straightforward. It goes something like this. You have a goal, like I want to make popcorn. Then you plan how you're going to achieve that goal. I need to use the microwave. Next, you specify the action. I'll press the popcorn button. Then you perform the action, you perceive the feedback like the microwave making noise, you interpret that feedback, it smells like popcorn, good sign, and finally, you compare the outcome to your original goal. Perfect, not burned this time, sounds simple, right? But here's the thing. If any of those steps feel confusing, frustrating, or just plain, then the design has failed. Think about a time you tried using a new app, and you couldn't figure out how to do something as basic as saving your work. Or maybe you bought a new gadget, and the instructions were written in some ancient language that only engineers could understand. Those are all examples of design failing to guide the user through the 7 stages of action. The key takeaway here is that good design anticipates the user's needs at every step of the way. It provides clear feedback, it's forgiving of errors, and it ultimately helps us achieve our goals with minimal friction. So there you have it. The Design of Everyday Things is a must-read for anyone who's ever been frustrated by a poorly designed product. which, let's be real, is all of us. But more importantly, it's a book that will make you appreciate the power of good design and how it can actually make our lives better. Now that you're thinking about design, let me know in the comments what are some of the best and worst designed products you've come across. I'm really curious to hear your examples. Don't forget to check out the video I made on how to earn 5,000 USD a month as a freelancer. See you in the next one.